Okay, so this is new. This is back to being new. Doing a live show is kind of like coming back to me. So if I'm not legible, that's because of my lack of footballing knowledge, not because of my lack of technical skill. I mean, part of it is lack of technical skill, but I would rather people understand that I my lack of footballing knowledge has a lot to do with this. Um, so first thing first, 7 years, Nishal. We are back to Champions
Yeah,
League.
yeah, long wait. So after seeing a lot of Europa leagues, sometimes missing out on that also, we are finally back in Champions League.
I mean, first thing when we think of Champions League, it's always that that voodoo or that thing about like, oh, Arsenal has not won a Champions League, and I'm not saying, oh, we are gonna win this year, but that Champions League and that relationship has always been. We were in the Champions League for so long, and right now I don't know what I have. I'm feeling excited, but I'm also feeling like, what is this like? Where are we getting back to? Because this seemed like a normal for us during Arsene Wenger era. Being in the Champions League was like just a given for us. So coming back to it, how do you feel? Like, how do you are you feeling excited? Are you feeling nervous? Like there has been talks about, oh, we
No,
should have stayed in Europa League, won that, or
no, we haven't been good in Europa League, is it actually? So Champions League excitement, it's been there. As I've been excited for, I think, nearly a month. The anthem, those lot of posts we are seeing, the Champions League anthems. So that's making us a lot excited. And under Wenger, I think continuous 19, 20 years, we were completely, we never missed on Champions League spot, but that was called as failure. So under Wenger, and Wenger once said that going forward, we'll see this top four will be like a trophy, and now we are really feeling it as a trophy, like top four. Those words came true. So nah, excited, but honestly, not too much expectations considering our last Champions League performance. So it's been, even though it's been 7 years, but we still remember those Bayern Munich days, Barcelona. So even during draw, I was like completely sure, definitely we are going to get banned. Once banned past Man United's group, then that was the big relief. So that was like almost winning the group. So it was that exciting actually.
I mean, talking about the group though, it's a very it looks like an easier group, but really like today's game, for example, it looks like an easier game, PSV, but they are top of the Belgian league. No, they top of the Eredivisie, right? Yeah, they are top of.
Yes, yes, they are top
So
of the league.
they're top of the league and they won like last two games with 4 goals. So I mean, there has been talks about Arsenal being the fourth likeliest possibility to win the Champions League and stuff like that. Which means, I mean, when we say fourth likeliest possibility, that means we have to be a semi-finalist at least. But I think it's too early for me. But how do you feel about the group, like to start off?
See, and I don't think so. Any of the team is easy to face in Champions League. Even last year we saw. Last year actually we were favorites to win the Europa League, if you remember. So, but our Europa League record was not great. Even Arteta won't be happy about this performance in Europe actually.
Hmm.
So PSV are not a easier side. So as you said, like in the 4 games, they won all four and they've scored 13 goals so far. And even coming into Champions League, their qualifier group, they have scored, I think, like nearly 7 goals. If I remember,
Yeah,
they bet
yeah,
Rangers very
Rangers
easily.
5 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, so they are a team to watch. Actually, this PSV are not going to be easy, especially away from home. We won't find it easier. So we have to make sure that we are getting all those 9 points in our home games, and PSV and Sevilla away. It's definitely not going to be easy.
Hmm. But it's home game, and I don't know if you have seen the game lineup. And when we did talk about, I did ask you whether we have seen the lineup. It's like there is very little change, which is surprising as well as not surprising. Knowing Arteta, he doesn't like to make those wholesome changes, like 6 players, 7 players out. until he's not taking it very seriously, like a Carabao Cup or something. Even last year, when we are talking about like Europa League, we did play our strong 11 in most of the games. Um, so, what are your thoughts on the 11 that we have put out, or the team that we have put out? I thought definitely there would be like space for Nelson, Jorginho, maybe a Smith Rowe, Tomiyasu might start, and all those things I was thinking, but it seems like it's the same team bar Nketiah and Trossard, because obviously Martinelli has been injured. It's the same team versus Everton, and also with North London Derby coming very close to us. Um, are you a little bit like thinking why this team right now?
No, I'm not surprised with the lineup. The only selection that I'm surprised is with David Raya starting with Ramsdale. When he started last game, I was definitely sure Ramsdale will be starting this. That's how Arteta can balance between this our goalkeeper controversy is going on. I'm sure after this match and entire week, he'll be asked a lot of questions about Ramsdale being left out. So I'm not surprised. Awards I expected him to come in place of Fabio Vieira and definitely Jesus in place of Nketiah. Rest of the squad I expected to be the same. And it's not at all Europa for us like Nelson or Emil Smith Rowe to come in when they have not played a lot of minutes this season. So we need to go strong, as I told, like PSV. A lot of people I am seeing this prediction 4-0, 5-0. They have not seen what PSV are doing in their league, and it's not a easier league there. And they have signed very good players, very exciting players. So this season, no Lang, he was linked with Arsenal, I
Yep,
think, like last season or before that. So they have
yep.
got very good squad. It won't be easier. You will see both the teams go. PSV are not a team that will sit back. They are not Everton. They'll not
Hmm.
sit back and they'll not defend. They will definitely come and they'll try to score. So you and Arsenal will try to score. There will be goals, and like so we cannot take PSP lightly. So I think it's a right squad, and David Raya, he's as good as Ramsdale. I don't know. Ramsdale has not done a lot of mistakes to be left out like that. So, but we cannot do. Raya is equally as good as keeper as Ramsdale.
Going back to PSV, right? Like, I wanted to talk about like a couple of players there, because obviously we know some of those players because we have been linked to like Lam, and like, I have always liked Dest, the midfielder,
Yeah.
and I also like what's his name, Veerman. Veerman, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah,
So I always thought like this is a very dynamic team that can play like, yes, 4 goals and 5 goals and all that is fine, but still like they play with front-footedness is what I feel. So what do you think about their team selection? They are pretty serious because that's their
Yeah,
first team too.
they are not rested any of the players. They have been playing almost similar team, so I don't think so. We have to rest any players, and their league is little bit quite easier than what we see in the Premier League. And
Hmm.
as you said, Dest, so it's going to be a good battle between Dest and Saka there. You see what he's trying to do. Dest is right-footed, playing in left back. He'll definitely try to stop Saka trying to cut in, so that's
Hmm.
what they'll be trying to do. So Ben White, even last game against Everton, so only time when we are seen like threatening, that's when Ben White went forward. If Ben White doesn't go forward, easily Saka will be neutralized. So he'll be isolated there. So that's the key. Our fullbacks need to overlap. Else, like even the striker is good enough. I think he's been getting a lot of goals and he's been involved in a lot of goals this season. De Jong, I believe,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Bakayoko, the right winger. I watched him playing for this Belgium. I think is good enough actually. He's not
Hmm.
got a lot of this one like goals or assists, but he'll create a lot of chances there.
Hmm. But okay, so coming back to Arsenal, right? Like, I mean, I understand from certain points why this team is selected, right? Yeah, we have to put our best team forward, but we do have a London derby, North London derby coming up. So that is also like a, what if there is also like the talk about like, Son has come out and ran his mouth as usual, saying like, oh, Arsenal wouldn't want to meet us, or all this bullshit. But with that all in mind, and this team playing like two days ago, and then now playing again, um, I don't know. I feel a little bit conflicted because obviously the players want to play. Right? This is the Champions League. This is what all these players have been waiting for, and it's at home. The first Champions League game after 7 years. Most of these players have not played Champions League. I mean, Harvards have, like some of them have, but most of these players have not played Champions League here at Arsenal or anywhere else. So it's a big, big, big moment for players, and it's rightful for Arteta to put his best team forward. But like in that moment, I also feel like what you said, Ramsdale deserves to start.
Yeah, Ramsdale. Now anyway, now Raya selected Ramsdale. At least I hope he comes back. Especially what had happened for him, like when we went to Spurs away last season, the Richarlison and the fan controversy. So I want Ramsdale to start against Tottenham badly because Raya, he has not got this like North London derby experience so far. So I
Hmm.
want him, but I don't know. Want it once he drops any player, it's rarely gets them back. Even with Leno, we saw like once Ramsdale came and it was all over for Leno. So
Hmm.
I don't really, even though he'll come into like a lot of interviews and he tells a lot about this goalkeeper swapping and he even planned to switch, bring on the goalkeeper at 60th, 70th minute against Fulham. But I don't believe in those talks. So it's either one of the goalkeeper moving out in the summer. So currently, it's most likely it's looking like Ramsdale will be heading out. So,
Hmm.
and another thing is like, yeah, North London Derby. If it was not Champions League comeback for Arsenal, if it was something like Europa League game this week, it would be complete talks about North London Derby.
Yeah.
So currently, as we are in Champions League, we have not seen nor people speaking about North London Derby except Son speaking, so we are not seeing anyone. So I think like until this game is over, our full focus is on this game and not North London Derby.
Um, but the thing is, like for me, the good and bad thing about having a big squad is right, like that the squad requires minutes, and if Arsenal are not ready to, I mean, yes, it's the first Champions League game and all those things, and we see on bench two goalkeepers. Um, I am confused at this. It's not for controversy or whatever, but I'm confused at this. That we have Why do we have two goalkeepers on the bench? We could have easily had, like, another outfield player there. Whether we will use them or not, that's a different scenario. But it's a Champions League. Being on the bench also is like a big deal, right? So.
Yeah,
Um, I'm worried about a couple of players. First is Emil Smith Rowe, obviously. I mean, we talked about Ramsdale a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but Smith Rowe is not getting any sniff, um, and we
He's
also,
not
like,
played even single minute, right? He's not played
yes,
even minute, MS
yes,
Smith Rowe. That's really shocking. He had a
that's
good, I think, like Euros was it under
under
21
21.
Euros?
Yeah, under 21
Yeah,
Euros.
he was very good. And when he came on against Barcelona or someone in the friendly this one
Yeah,
preseason game, he was good there playing it left this one Havertz role, left
yeah,
center
yeah.
mid. We thought like definitely he'll be the one who will be swapping with this Havertz, but currently it's suddenly Fabio Vieira has come out of nowhere now. So he's fighting for his spot. Nobody expected Fabio Vieira to get as many minutes as he has got this season. So Emil
Hmm.
Smith Rowe, I'm definitely concerned. 2 years back, he was as good as Saka. A lot of
Yeah,
people have forgot that. And he's really talented. When I saw that he was linked away, move away from Arsenal this summer, I was really, I didn't understand what was that to 30, 40 million for Emil Smith Rowe. It doesn't make sense, does it actually? So I am sure this is a long season. As long as we stay in all of the competitions, definitely players will get a lot of minutes. And you're seeing like Euro qualifiers that's in like critical stages. And from now you'll see a few of the players playing every 3 or 4 days now, especially Gabriel, Saliba, who are playing for their international duties. They have not got rest. So
hmm,
who are not going to the international teams, they'll be getting their 2 weeks break and during the international break. But apart from that, I'll see a lot of players this loaded with a lot of games this season. There won't be any complaint with game time.
that is the other thing, right? Like, it's not about the game time for the first 11 Obviously, it's about the complaints for the game time for the next 11. And as I'm telling this, I'm also the proponent of like, okay, Arsenal as a football club doesn't owe anyone anything. Like we don't have to give minutes to these players; they have to earn their spot. But also the other side of it is like we have seen Saliba getting injured at the Sporting game, and like that derailed our whole season. Uh, so, and this time we also know that, like, like you mentioned, Gabriel went to the national duty. He went to Brazil. It's a long, long trip, and he traveled around Brazil for those two games, and then came back late, and he played Everton game. Are we pushing it too much? Like, are we pushing our players too much? Like, Saliba played for France. Gabriel played for Brazil, and then White played for England. Saka always plays for England. So all these players, they have played maximum minutes, and still we are pushing them in the midweek game. Obviously, yes, I would love the 3 points, but I'm also worried about how we are managing the load.
Yeah, I remember talking to you in our first interview. Said like our chances in Premier League and Champions League purely depends on how fit the players will be, and Arteta cannot afford like last season. I think Arsenal was the least rotated team, I believe, last season, and
Yep.
this season he cannot afford that. With Champions League and I think in midweek, a lot of players got rest, but this time in Champions League, I hardly see any players getting rest. I am not too concerned about our attack and midfield because I can see good depth there and equally talented players coming and filling in there. But I am really concerned about the defense. I told you like one if Timber stays fit, so I think like I was looking at our Community Shield game. So I predicted that we'll be going like we will be favorites to win the title this season. But once Timber went, I told I think we definitely needed a replacement signing after we sold, we loaned out Tierney. But I was
Mhm.
shocked that we didn't sign anyone. We are really looking thin in that defense. So it's just we are just one injury away, either to Saliba or Gabriel. Then definitely things will look different, and we'll be seeing like conceding every game in the Premier
Mhm.
League and even in the Champions League.
But coming back to this game, right? Like, it's going to be attacking, like you said. We would like to attack, but start of the season, contrast to what we have been talking about PSV. PSV has been scoring like very freely. They've scored 4 goals, 5 goals, and all those things. But Arsenal has not been hitting their mark. I mean, we have been creating chances. We have talked about, like, even in the last episode in our podcast, we talked about the whole tilt and field tilt or whatever the scenario is called, and all those things. Yeah, all those stats, we look like we are doing really great, but the problem is that those chances and those positives are not converting into goals. Are you worried about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think only change that you are seeing from last season is Shaka getting replaced by Havertz or Fabio Vieira.
Yeah.
We are still not sure with that position, and we are seeing that midfield is not completely, it's not stable because we don't know that even players, Declan Rice doesn't know who is partner. Like
Mhm.
coming every week, it's changing, so that will be a little bit concerning. And our attackers, Martinelli, I think he is even Saka. They are not in full flow. Only this player I am seeing is like as good as last season when it ended. It is Odegaard. So apart from that, I'm not seeing anyone. Definitely today again, PS will try to attack Zinchenko's side. So we are seeing all the teams coming there because they're seeing like Zinchenko is in midfield and there is a lot of space behind Zinchenko. So I think like it's like usual now. Every opposition coming and attacking there that space. So definitely we need to score a lot of goals. I don't think we haven't won any game so far comfortably, is it? So far in this season, all the
No,
games have gone
I
to
mean, yeah, 1-0 is a comfortable win, but still, like, we
yeah
did not outscore anyone or something like that.
yeah another 1-0 also we cannot considering how Arsenal play the final few minutes. We cannot say 1-0 is like comfortable because we saw against Fulham. I thought like Fulham game will be easiest, and that's when we'll be rotating some of the players, and like Emil Smith will be getting some minutes there. But that's the game like we drop point against 10 men Fulham. So definitely on this game, the way we are playing, we are not looking that comfortable, and especially at Emirates, we are not good at all. So hopefully we don't. After all this excitement, the last thing we want is like conceding the goal within the first minute. So that's how it has been. Think this like team
Mhm.
is definitely easy, and it's going to be like 2, 3 goals prediction. But that's when we consider the goal very early.
So that's where I'm getting at, right? Like, considering both the teams, where do you think that, like, Arsenal could go in and, like, if this part works, we will have a comfortable game. If I have to put you, like, for me, definitely it's the midfield. If we win the midfield battle, if we can, make Odegaard and Rice, and Rice has been brilliant this season. I have no complaints.
Yeah,
I cannot
definitely.
ask more of
Yeah.
him, but, like,
No one is
that
speaking about his price tag, is it? No, because the way he's playing, no one is speaking about his
yeah,
price tag. But definitely, everyone is seeing Enzo Fernandez and Casido's price tag. That's because they're playing poorly.
yeah, but that's where I think the game is when, if Odegaard has his game, I think, and if Havertz can somehow do some magic, we could potentially play a very comfortable game. Is where I'm thinking. Where do you think is this game is going to be decided on?
Definitely the midfield and our defense has to be alert. So PSV can come even at the last moment, they can come and score. So we cannot afford them to score. And once we control the midfield, I know like maybe Jesus or someone can. Saka, I feel he might have a tough game considering their tactical. We know like they'll be doubling upon him. So I expect like Odegaard and especially Jesus can break their defense. That's Havertz. I definitely has to step up now. He has got a lot of minutes now, and it's time for him. He needs a goal, and that's one goal will get him like all the backing from the fans in the stadium, and it will be a
Mhm.
big relief for him there. So we need to know like what that role particularly. It's like it should help Declan Rice because he's not like he's seeing like different partners, and that's not helping the team's cause at all. When Vieira came, I don't know, like no one knows who will be playing against Spurs in that role. So that position is changed frequently, and Arteta is not sure of that position. So we need to fix that.
If I have to ask you, like, say for example, today Havertz get an assist or a goal, do you think then he deserves that spot against against the shit team across North London?
I personally would start if Havertz get a goal or assist today. I personally would start Havertz against Spurs because one goal for Havertz, and our fan base in all social medias will definitely lift that player and from nowhere. Even Vieira's cameos. Until then, people were telling that Vieira should be sold and why he's in the team. Suddenly, he's the hero now. No, his song is being sung in the stadium, and Fabio Vieira is the most loved player, I think, this season so far
Yeah,
for his
yeah,
cameos.
definitely,
So
definitely.
that moment can change, and within like I think 3, 4 days left for North London Derby, Havertz getting that goal or assist, definitely it will push him for this North London Derby, and definitely he deserves a start there.
And we have been talking about, Saka on and off. Yeah, he might have a difficult game and stuff like that. But I feel like, I mean, Arun actually disagreed with me on that. Like, I feel Saka has had a slower start than his usual standards. And I think, like, he has been, I mean, slower as in, yeah, he has already got, like, I think 2 goal contributions or something. But still, I feel Saka's level is so much higher that in games his influence has reduced a little bit. Do you feel that is it because of that Partey was playing right back during those first 2 games, and then now White has come in, but it's not a team that is functioning as good as before, and Eddie was not the striker that he is used to, the type of striker he's used to. I feel like I'm giving out reasons defending Saka, but I'm just trying to figure out how to make Saka the Saka that we know of.
No, I think if you remember last season also he started poorly. I think it was like 8, 10 games until he came on his own. Even then he was getting those assists somewhere and all, and people were telling like, oh, Saka is like is out of form, and he took his own time. That's because like he'll be playing lot of games for England and here and it is and you're seeing every team tactically this one like blocking our right hand side, and they know our creativity comes from interchanging between Odegaard and Saka. So that's where they block. That's why we need to put an extra man there. Ben White needs to go forward as more he goes forward. That's when we create some chances there. So definitely Saka, I don't say is out of form because last game against Everton, he comfortably dribbled past. I think like 4 or 5 times he dribbled past easily when they were doubling upon him.
Hmm.
So he's in his own rhythm, but we have to blame like people playing around him also. Nketiah's performance last game didn't help him. So no matter like whatever the Nketiah's debate come, but we know like some players will be comfortable. You bring in Emil Smith Rowe, Saka is so comfortable playing with him. You saw their partnership, I think 2 years back.
Hmm.
So I think Saka will come on his own as the game passes by.
We have 4 minutes before the start, so I think like we'll just wrap this up a little bit. I know you have been mentioning about like our Arsenal fans saying like 4-0, 5-0 and stuff like that, and we know that as Arsenal fans we are like too much wrapped up in our own thing that we don't look at other teams, we don't look at other leagues and stuff. So uh, it is going to be a difficult game, at least looking at PSV on paper and like looking at the results. For me, it looks like a difficult game. But if I have to ask you, like, okay, predict this game for me, what would be, the prediction for the goals, for the assist? Who do you think is going to be playing well? Who's going to be your man of the match? Like, and I know this is like a prediction man of the match. So if I have to ask you those questions, like prediction for the scoreline.
I expect 2-0 Arsenal winning. So
Uh,
not
Clean sheet
yeah.
at home.
Yeah, yeah, actually, when we usually when teams come like this, like so many attacking teams come and they give us like enough spaces to attack, that's when I think our defense will step up. So coming back into Champions League, when people like with big games, usually Saliba and Gabriel step up, especially we see them performing in away games and home games, they're a little bit casual. But I think if they cut off that the early pressure of not conceding, then definitely, I think we can get like a couple of goals.
So 2 goals from Arsenal. Who do you think would be the scorers?
I think Jesus will get one. Actually,
Hmm.
it's been he's not in the picture this season, right? So before like North London derby, I think Jesus has to come into his own. I think Jesus will get a goal or assist somewhere. So there is no Martinelli. If Martinelli would be there, this would be an ideal game for him. So to
Hmm.
get a goal, but I think like another one, Odegaard or someone might get. So it should
Okay.
be Tony.
So who do you think is going to be the player who's going to get us that first win back in Champions League?
First,
First win coming back into Champions League. Who's going to be that player who's going to step up? One player, if you have to say, look out for this player today.
I think it will be Odegaard.
Awesome. I think it's almost time. And thanks, Nish.
So what's your prediction?
No, I never
What do you
predict.
predict?
That's the whole idea. I am the most superstitious Arsenal fan that's been possible. So yes, I'm not predicting as usual. I will never predict. And it's 1 minute to the game. Hopefully, I'm so excited. I'm really so much excited for this
Yeah,
game. So talk to you after the victory. It's been nice talking to you.
yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, we'll
Come
get
on,
the win.
come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, come on, you guys. Yeah, let's
See
go.
ya.
Bye bye.